Warning: the Chaotic Culture Podcast is a program for mature audiences. The language and content presented in this podcast is of a mature nature that some audiences may not find suitable. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Blaze the doja, grab your loved ones and bring them closer. Extra, extra, read the poster. The KKP is taking over. Sleeping on me, better smell the Folgers. I've been razor sharp since the Motorola. Off for O, like the cover Oprah. Popping bottles, feet all in the sofa. It's a celebration, though the times is hard. It's raining blessings, give it up to God. Chaotic culture, the greatest pod. With Ked the Pro, the one in charge. But it's a celebration, times is hard. It's raining blessings, give it up to God. Chaotic culture, the greatest pod. With Ked the Pro, the one in charge.
We're living in a chaotic culture. 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 Oh, we're living in a chaotic culture. 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 Oh, we're living in a chaotic culture. 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 Oh, we're living in a chaotic culture. We're living in a chaotic culture. We're living in a chaotic culture. We're living in a chaotic culture.
All right, so first off, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Chaotic Culture Podcast. This is going to be the actual season 2 finale. This is the epilogue here. Definitely wanted to do it in a different space than my actual home. Got a chance to come out here in Fate, Texas.
Yeah, Rockwall, basically.
Rockwall. Okay. Wow. Yes. So we are in Rockwall, Texas. I decided to go out here, one, because obviously my job did not do me any favors as far as my schedule. So I was like, all right, well, you know what? I'm taking the 4th of July weekend off while the rest of y'all go ahead and work that holiday, because I ended up working Memorial Day anyway. So I had to go ahead and just take care of that. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna come to Texas and hook up with my peoples, man, because I've definitely wanted to pod with them anyway, but it's good to actually kind of do it in person, and it makes it more authentic here. So first, let me go ahead and introduce myself. Y'all already know who it is. It is the creator and the host of the Chaotic Culture Podcast, your boy Ked the Pro, aka the Calculated Millennial, aka the Cutlass Diamond, aka don't be pushing on my buttons in my Cutlass unless you cutting, aka Panda's favorite toxic adjacent king. The 843 is me, excuse me. Usually do it live from the 7-5, but this time I'm in Texas. This week we have a special guest with us, well, with me, since I'm solo, and this is I'm gonna let him introduce himself, but I ran into his podcast, running into all of the other anime and content creating podcasts on Twitter. I first saw the Blerd Mind podcast pop up when we were discussing the Watcher Challenge, the Watcher 100 Anime Challenge, and that's when the actual podcast had messaged me, and then I started following them, and that's how I ran into the creator of the Blerd Mind Pod, or Inside the Mind of a Blerd, Scuba Steve. Go ahead and introduce yourself real quick to the audience, man.
Hey, yo, what's up, man? It is Scuba Steve, aka Scholar Dad or whatever, aka Spoiler Steve, aka Sock Wearing Steve. I don't know what else they be calling me, but they like to poke fun at me. So.
Hey, it's all good, man. The right now the timeline is going through the timeline villains under Run My Fade for Worst Gen Pod, so shout out to them. And you were going up against Mike,
the Juggernaut.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. he's not losing that. I'm sorry. I looked at it, I was like, oh yeah, this not even close.
I wasn't even worried when I saw it. I was like, oh, it was good while it lasted. I'm in the Final Four, so that's where we sitting at.
Yeah. I was surprised you even got to the Final Four. I thought for sure that they would have chosen Abe instead of you.
Abe and Merc. I don't understand how. I don't know how I beat both of them, but I mean, people see me as a villain, I guess. And
I don't know how. I mean, I guess maybe because on the timeline you just be like reckless and whatnot, as opposed to like how you actually are. Yeah. And you know, I've got calling a Twitter terrorist myself before, so so I'm like, you know what, I haven't been as crazy, but I'll still be giving out the wild takes and whatnot on Twitter. Not anything that would be disagreeable though, unlike Merc. Yeah. Merc be just throwing it out there. I'm like, bro, what?
He would be spitballing.
Right.
You know, what he be talking about? Just throw it out there.
And he said, "Oh, the streets say I'm spitting." I'm like,
Sesame Street?
Yeah. He's gonna say spitting that hot garbage, my guy. But man, shout out to Merc though. It's still all love, man. And yeah, and of course, Abe, also a member of the Inside the Mind of the Blerd, aka the ItMoB. Yeah, he even admitted to being a villain, and you still beat him out. I don't get it.
That nigga idolizes Darkseid. And
oh yeah.
And I somehow beat him. Like, Abe, my nigga, shout out to Abe. He's really like pretty much like with Inside the Mind of a Blerd. Abe is like our audio editor, and he like really is the, I guess you would say, the driving engine behind the scenes.
Okay.
Because like obviously we got Cam, Alpha, Bo. We got a real deep team. But Abe is the one that's like really, really like trying to organize things and making things run more smoothly. Because with me, I'm more so of a like, okay, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? He's like, let's think about this. Let's organize it. And he tries to do things in that space. So I give a lot of credit to Abe, and Abe really helps me out because if it wasn't for Abe, I would definitely just be like, we winging it every day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like let's fuck it. Like, you know what I'm saying? What we recording today? I don't care, just press the record button. You know what I'm saying? We would just be spitting. Like, Abe be like, all right, well, let's make a list for the month of topics, and he does all that other like tedious behind the scenes shit.
Okay.
That I don't really be wanting to do.
I got you. Now here's a good question for y'all. Like, how did Inside the Mind of a Blerd start? I've heard this before, but I definitely want the audience to hear.
So really it was me, Cam, and Bo. We all linked up, and we wanted to start the podcast or whatever. This was like 2 years before we actually started it too. And so yeah, we was really bullshitting for a while. And so we linked up. We went to like Applebee's or something like that, and we was like, let's do this podcast, this and that. And we pretty much, you know what I'm saying, we bullshitted for about 2 years. And then Skylar had took over the Twitter account one day. Like, she had my phone and stuff. And then somebody was like, y'all should do a podcast together. Y'all should do Scuba Steve. And I was like, dang, if we do that, I definitely need to start the one I got with Cam and Bo.
Right.
So basically we ended up starting that one, and my cousin organized the Discord and everything. He was part of the podcast, but he wanted to stay in the darkness, so he basically did like 2 episodes and then he dipped out. But shout out to Binary Bebop, that's my cousin. And but basically it was me, Cam, and Bo. And then Abe was a listener at first. He was like supporting and stuff. He was like, hey, if you need an editor for your podcast, let me know and I can edit your podcast. And like the way I am, like I'm just all about like bringing shit together. So I was like, well, if you're gonna edit it, you're gonna be a part of the podcast,
right? And
he was like, nah, I don't want to do that. And I was like, I don't care what you want to do. I was like, you gonna be a member, man, like come on. So then Abe joined the team, and then Alpha was a huge listener and supporter of the pod as well. And I had been fucking with Alpha for a while because I like his Nuzlocke Pokemon stuff that he does on YouTube. He does a lot of different like video things as well, video editing. So then I asked Alpha, I was like, would you like to be a part of the team too? And he was like, yeah. So then that's pretty much how we got our team together. And then recently, a couple months ago, we basically added Crystal, Alvin, Double O, and Straw Hat Hydro. Those are pretty much like people that we all fucked with, and we thought that they would bring something dope to the team.
Okay.
And then that's pretty much how we ended up with 9 people.
I see.
A 9 people team, yeah. So, And it helps too, because there's times where I can't be there, or Cam can't be there, or somebody can't be there. But now we got 9 people, so you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like, we
yeah.
always got a fully loaded pod. You know what I'm saying. So,
Right. So if when one can't be there, somebody else will be able to do the episode and whatnot. Nah, yeah, I definitely feel that. Unfortunately, I only got 3. It's just me, Law, and Chanasa. So shout out to them. They when one of them can't do it, obviously I just do a solo episode. But it would be nice to have a little bit of a team behind me. But we working on that.
Hey,
So
slow baby steps.
Yeah,
man. That's
yeah.
pretty much what it is. Because I think we started in November. No, we started in October. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We started in October, and we did like a whole Halloween month or whatever, and then we just pretty much been rolling since then. So we haven't even hit a year yet.
Oh, okay. Man, that's what's up. I didn't realize that y'all had started in October, man. I thought y'all were way ahead of me until I saw like the first episodes. I'm like, oh, wait, they started behind me. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, it's all good, man, because y'all actually got y'all have a shop out right now, don't y'all?
Oh yeah,
Like
the Blerd shop with all the merchandise. Go get you some socks, man. Like, that's me with the socks, man. I push that sock agenda. So we pretty much did the shop, and we set the shop up, and that really if you buy merch, it's really helping us out. We pretty much everybody getting mics, and you know what I'm saying, paying for StreamYard and these editing programs that Abe uses and stuff. So if you purchase stuff from the shop, you're really helping us to give y'all something better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey man, definitely. I already got a shirt from y'all, so I'm definitely gonna purchase some more merch. And it's giving me some ideas as well for merch on my own, because that's one thing that I haven't been able to have time to do, because again, it's only 3 of us. So if I can get more people together to actually put our heads together, me and Law will be able to handle most of the brunt work while everybody else works on the little stuff. But we definitely got some ideas in the works. So that being said, I definitely appreciate y'all having some merch, because I will definitely support. I guess the next thing I got to do is buy some socks.
Yeah, man, go get some socks.
Hey man, look, I don't know if this makes me a timeline villain or not, but when it comes to like wearing socks to sleep, when it is the winter time, I will do that, because my feet get cold easily.
That's what I'm saying.
Now
man.
summertime, I mean, it's what it is. I can do with or without, it don't matter. But like when it gets wintertime, I live in Virginia and it gets cold.
Oh, I know it.
So I'm sitting here, especially my room, for whatever reason, my room is always either extremely cold or extremely hot, no matter what I do to the AC. So it's like, all right, you know what? It's the middle of January. I just wear the little ankle socks to keep myself warm in bed, because I will literally, like, I'll get cold. But springtime, summertime, all right, yeah, I can do without them. But
ain't
yeah,
nothing wrong with them. Wear them socks to sleep, man. Don't let them choose whether or not you a villain or not.
Right.
Because you wearing socks to sleep.
Right.
Live your truth, kid.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. And that's why I never rag on you when you say you wear socks to sleep. It's just like, okay, so
feet be cold.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, it ain't like I do it all the time. It's just when I get cold, and I get cold very easily, and I get that from my mom probably, because I think she's borderline anemic. So it's like when I get to bed, I'm just like, okay, yeah, I need to warm up. So some people, it makes them hot, I guess, so that's why they don't do it. But for me, I was like, especially when it gets cold, I have to do something to keep my body temperature up. So that being said, it's whatever. Y'all can say what y'all want, man. I support them on the sock agenda.
Hey man, everybody go get some socks, and y'all make sure y'all sleep in them. Take pictures in the bed with the socks. Take a selfie with you wearing the socks in the bed, and do what you got to do, man. Get that agenda out there,
man. But back to the subject of like the Blerd Mind. So just talk about what different segments y'all have, because obviously y'all have the ItMoB, but then y'all also have an umbrella of different podcasts and different topics that y'all talk about. So just spit a little bit on that.
So inside the mind of a Blerd, we do know that we are in a anime space on Twitter, but we actually cover everything. We cover video games, we cover comics, video games, anime, movies. We do we do live movie trailer reactions. We do everything on Inside the Mind of a Blerd. So We are an umbrella though for Scholar and Scuba Steve podcast, which is a podcast with me and my daughter. And then we have the Mind Knocker Mixer. The Mind Knocker Mixer is Black Hole Player. He had a podcast and he had a podmate who unfortunately passed away. And his co-host passed away, and he didn't do Mind Knocker Mixer for a very long time. And then one day Abe had hit me up and he was like, hey, I want you to meet somebody. And he introduced me to Black Hole Player. And then he was all like, I know on Inside the Mind of a Blerd, we don't talk about anime enough. We kind of talk about so much other stuff, and we are in the anime space. So I know how much you love anime. He's like, and I know how much Black loves anime. He said, would you be his co-host? And I was like, man, I'm honored that you even asking me to be your co-host after, you know what I'm saying, you lost one of your co-hosts and one of your closest friends, really. It wasn't just a co-host. And I was like, for you to even suggest that I could be your co-host, I was like, yeah, I'd be honored to do that. So I do Mind Knocker Mixer with Black, and it's a good time, bro. Like, it's a real good time. We got real good chemistry. We just clicked immediately. We actually been doing that one since April, and it's fun. So we usually talk about the seasonal anime. After we talk about seasonal anime, we have like a little discussion on the topic, and then at the end we do this thing called the draft. And the draft is pretty much where we'll be like, best kids in anime, best children, youngsters, anime youngsters, or whatever. And then he'll choose a person, I choose a person, and we do it until we got like 10 picks or something like that. So it's pretty fun. Like we have a real good time with the Mind Knocker Mixer.
Okay. Hey, shout out to y'all. Now here's my question in regards to that, because I know he watches like a ton of anime, and he even admits that himself. Because I know with you doing the challenge, it's just a matter of how do you balance, being able to do, Mind Knocker Mixer as well as doing the typical recordings for ItMoB.
So on Tuesdays we do a ItMoB recording, and then on Wednesdays we do Mind Knocker Mixer. And then I still have to watch anime, read my comics as well, so I can stay in the know for these topics and everything like that. So it's just whenever I have time. I mean, like for the most part, you've been here for the past couple of days, so you see, like, it's like family time. All right, now the family time is over, let me go absorb this content. And I go absorb content for about an hour or two, and then I turn around and I go do my writing thing for like 2 or 3 hours, and then I just do it all over again, man. Like that's the only thing I can do is just utilize all 24 hours, man. I go to bed at like 4 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 9 o'clock I'm up, you know what I'm saying, and I'm just back at it. Like I only need a few hours of sleep to, get the day going. So it's pretty much what it is with me.
Must be a military thing, because I know some military folk, they be like, hey, look, all I need is 4-5 hours and I'm good. And I'm like, no. But that's what's up, man. So talk a little more about like the stuff that you're working on outside of ItMoB, like as far as like, because I know that you said that you're writing a series right now.
Yes, I'm writing a series. So like last time I was like talking about the series and stuff like that, and then I ended up having to push it back. So I don't want to psych myself out, but the 2 projects that I am writing on, one is called Project Payback, and it's a series about these 6 mercenaries, and they basically do contract killings, heists, things like that. And they all have these powers, and they live in a world where the powers are outlawed. So the government basically outlawed these powers, and anybody that has these powers, they get captured. And the people that have not, been captured, they're considered rebels. That's what they're called. So they do have the government, obviously they can't catch these people with powers by themselves because they don't have powers. So they have this team called the Zodiac Council, and these are the strongest power users in the world, in the universe or whatever. So they got that team of Zodiacs, and that team of Zodiacs is basically hunting down the rebels. So it's pretty interesting story. And then the other one that I'm working on is one called Wake the Dead. So Wake the Dead is these sisters, Naomi and Naya Wake, and they pretty much are necromancers, and they run a business where people like if you had a heart attack or something like that, just randomly, you didn't get to say goodbye to your loved ones. You know what I'm saying? So your loved ones can contact them, and then they can rise you from the dead, so you guys can say your final goodbyes. Yeah. Okay. So that's what their job is. And then obviously there's people out there that say the dead should stay dead. They don't like what they're doing. Right. So they're trying to hunt the two sisters down. So that's what Wake the Dead is. Oh, wow.
Man, it sounds like you definitely got some interesting series that you got cooked up, man. Like, I'm looking forward to whatever the finished product looks like in the end. Speaking of which, of course, just a quick shout out, of course, to Strange Keith at Concept Moon. I know that Concept Moon itself has been working on some stuff. I just listened to the episode for ItMoB, so the shout out to Brandon and them. Strange Keith, I know he doesn't give himself props often, but he definitely should, because just the stuff that he's working on as far as his content and as far as his I call them black manga for just like that, I forgot the name of one, Black Lotus Dragon. Yeah. So shout out to him, and he just sent me an email too for some content, so I'm definitely gonna check that out whenever I get the opportunity, probably when I get back to Houston. Anyway, so what are some of the, I guess, best moments of when you're actually recording with ItMoB? Because I know that there are different days and different topics that y'all got, and different hosts will, rotate and whatnot. So what is just some of the best moments that y'all have had that you think?
The best moments that we've had on ItMoB aren't recorded. When we link up, before we press that record button, it's so much comedy in there, and we just unfiltered. Like, we already kind of like say whatever we want to on the air, but we still filter ourselves a little bit. The unfiltered conversations that y'all don't get to hear, man, that is some of the best stuff that you'll ever hear. And like it's like, especially when we telling jokes and stuff like that. I had a real horrible day one day, and I told them about that day, and I had them in tears. They talked about it on the timeline. They didn't actually say what I said, but they literally were in tears, like we were talking about it. I'll tell you about it off air, because it was real bad. It's something that I can't even tell you on air. Okay. It's embarrassing. Let's just say that.
I got you. So yeah, off air, we'll discuss that a little more.
But most of the conversations that we have off air are the best times. And then one thing that I really love, like I said, I love the draft that we do on My Naka Mixer. I love ladies night, even though Cam only done one so far. She needs to do another one, but you know what I'm saying, hopefully this lights a fire under her now that I said that, because lady night was really dope. She got all the female podcasters together, and they did a ladies night episode, and it was really good. We do this Inside the Mind of the Dead story. So we pretty much, with the original 5 that we have, we basically tell this like zombie apocalypse story. So we came up with this, like, it's the year 2025 or something like that, and we all are basically like put in a zombie situation. So since I'm a writer, I pretty much wrote everybody into different scenarios. So like Alpha was at work, working, and then I had Cam, like, she's doing something. I had Abe in Vegas, like on a business trip and all this other stuff, and they picked up the story from there. Okay. So they pretty much have to tell what would happen with the zombie apocalypse and things like that. It's a really good series. I think we're on chapter 5 now, so each episode we tell more of the story, and it's a really good series. So it's a real good moment that we have with the team too.
Okay. Didn't you kill off Skylar in one of those episodes?
Yes. So the thing is, like, people weren't expecting it because they didn't know how my story was gonna go. I think it was episode 2 that I killed Skylar off. But then in episode 3, if you listen to it, you find out why Skylar, like, that sounds so bad. Why Skylar's dead. My particular zombie apocalypse story is like erased.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not even. Yeah, it's not even erased. It's more so like have you seen the Tom Cruise movie Live Die Repeat? Kind of like Groundhog Day type shit.
Yeah, where he keeps dying and then keeps coming back.
Yeah,
and whatnot. Yeah.
So that's what's going on with my zombie story. My zombie story, pretty much, Skylar died, and then I ended up getting bit, and I die. And then when I die, I wake up, and then I'm starting the zombie apocalypse over and over and over. So pretty much what I'm doing is trying to save everybody. But I've had Skylar die. I've had my other daughter, Janessa, die. I've had my dog, like, couldn't escape, and then I had to, like, kind of push him off to make the zombie to make the zombies chase the dog instead of chasing me. Like, dang, I've done some. It's dark.
I can see, man. No wonder you get hit with the top line villain stuff, bro. Because that's just crazy, man. But yeah, I see your story's more like the anime ReZero, where Subaru, like, anytime that he dies, he returned by death. Yeah. For those who have not watched ReZero, I highly recommend it. It's a very, very good isekai. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I see where you're coming from, man. Because at least in your scenarios, if anything were to happen, all you just do is die and start over and whatnot.
Yeah. So when Skylar originally died, I hadn't did the reset yet. So everybody was like, I can't believe you killed Skylar. And I'm like, man, will y'all just relax and let my story be? And they was like, nah, man, you killed Skylar. So I got terrorized for like 2 or 3 weeks because I didn't actually do the first reset until like episode 4. Okay. So yeah.
All right. So yeah, we'll give you some slack on that one, since again, you restart, and that way Skylar won't have to die again. Well, who knows? She might die again.
Oh yeah, she gonna definitely die.
Oh well, well, there it is. You heard it first. It's like she about to catch another L again. But anyway, I should bring Skylar in here just to hear that. It's like, hey, look, your dad about to kill you again in your next story. Anyway, what? So now that we've kind of got the idea of ItMoB and whatnot, we have to talk about this cartoon tier list, because I definitely had to listen to it while I was driving around Houston and whatnot, just trying to catch the sights and whatnot. The cartoon tier list, after listening to it, because I know I had seen the actual meme that y'all have of the actual chart, and I was, for the most part, there was nothing that I didn't disagree with, of course, the exception of Shaolin Showdown being as low as it was. But then I understood once I actually listened to it, like, okay, y'all gave it that low because of the ending, and you know what? That's fair. That's fair. But dang, y'all was really holding Justice League, man. I kind of hold that one a little closer to my heart than not the other ones that are like the godlike series, like Batman the Animated Series, of course. Like that is absolutely godlike, but still, man, why such the hate towards Justice League and Abe in for that?
So we actually we had godlike, we had I can't even remember the tiers.
Godlike, goated,
yeah. So I'm like, Justice League is goated, but it wasn't godlike, and we got some heat just because of that, because we was like, it wasn't godlike, and we was like, come on, bro, goated is still high tier,
right?
But pretty much people saw that meme and then they immediately just started attacking us. And they're like, just listen to the episode. It's impossible with 9 people ranking something. It's impossible to have everything perfect. So we knew we were going to get kickback for it. And then I also told them with the one hit wonder section, we put it at the bottom, so it made it look like One Hit Wonder was a bottom tier thing. So people were really on our ass at the meme. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If we'd have put One Hit Wonder at the top, nobody would have even understood. You know what I'm saying? Argued or nothing like that. So it was pretty much one of them things where Alpha, shout out to Alpha, he came up with the idea, and now tier list is going to be something that we do regularly now.
Okay.
So pretty much he came up with the idea to do a tier list ranking. And he did it for cartoons, and then I think the next one we got coming soon is going to be TV shows, like live action TV shows. So like Power Rangers, Cousin Skeeter, Keenan and Kel, things like that. So we're gonna rank those, and that's gonna be a crazy episode. And those episodes usually last 3-4 hours. We be doing it all day for them.
I see. If y'all do Power Rangers, y'all definitely gotta include me on that one, because I will admit that I'm still pretty much a Power Rangers buff. I have to go back and rewatch a few series just to be sure that I refresh my memory and make sure that I'm up to date on what series was actually godlike and goated and which series were kind of meh. I know the trash ones automatically I'm not even gonna touch. And I saw HBCU Anime had retweeted or they had tweeted out one of their top 3 as far as Power Rangers, and they had Power Rangers Turbo in there, and I immediately just like,
Power Rangers Turbo, no
garbage. Absolute garbage. And if you know the history of Power Rangers Turbo, if you look at the Japanese series, this Japanese counterpart, Car Ranger, it's satire. It's literally satire. So the fact that they tried to put that into an American version, you could just tell it's like, yo, this doesn't fit at all. Some of the stuff in some of these episodes is just like really didn't make sense, or it was just really goofy. I will give credit for the ending, because the ending set up in space perfectly. But outside of the ending, it's trash series. Absolute trash series.
So funny thing about Power Rangers, I watched this show on Netflix called The Toys That Made Us. And Saban is actually a genius after watching that episode. So basically he went and he bought a company or whatever from Japan. So he bought all those reels and everything. So if you ever watch Power Rangers closely, everything that's in the suit is Japanese footage.
Yep.
And everything that's not in the suits is actually the American footage. And then they just do voiceovers over all the Japanese footage. You also notice that you never see any of the Power Rangers interact with Rita, Goldar, or anybody, because they're not technically there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's literally the Japanese footage. So what the dude pretty much did was he got all the Japanese footage, he cut it up, and then he would make the American footage. You know what I'm saying? They do their storytells to piece it together. So when he actually ran out of footage for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the next set of footage that he had was Turbo Rangers. So, and then that's why we got so many different variations early on of Power Rangers, because he was running out of footage of the Japanese footage. So when he ran out of Japanese footage, he would just come out with another type of Power Rangers. And it actually worked brilliantly, because you got action figures, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and when those finally burnt out, oh, okay, well, the series ran out anyway, now we can make new toys. So then they made Turbo Rangers. And then when the next one came out, those burnt out. He just kept on making more. He made like, I think he bought that Japanese footage and stuff for like $20,000, and he turned that stuff into a super $1 million.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. You gotta watch that episode on Netflix. It's called The Toys That Made Us.
Okay, I'll definitely check that out. And we forgot the series, of course, Zeo, because Zeo was in between Mighty Morphin and Turbo. So yeah, Zeo had a lot of Zords. That's the only complaint that I had, and honestly, and for those who know, I'm into mech anime anyway, so Zords were the reason I got into mech anime. That being said, Zeo did have quite a bit of Zords, so it's like, alright, and none of them got destroyed, which is the crazy part, because typically in the Ranger series, you'll have like one Zord, and then it'll get destroyed, and then they come out with like another one that was even stronger than that, or if the first Zord was just useless, they'll go to the second one that's actually more powerful. But Zeo just stacked them up. I'm like, okay, well, there's that. And I only had one set, but my cousin had the other one, so we were just like, anytime that we came over, I would bring over the first Zord that I had, which I forgot. I think it's the Zeo Megazord, and then his other one was the Super Zeo Megazord. So we was just doing that, and we would also have like battles between each other all the time. But yeah, and I realized as I got older that he had actually ran out of just the way that he was able to create footage for each series, especially if you look at Mighty Morphin and how it's broken down into three or 4 seasons if you include Alien Ranger. But Alien Ranger was actually supposedly the original Ninja Ranger for the Japanese counterpart, but they were, I guess, they had to do something because you had that, and then if anybody out there has ever watched Power Rangers Super Mega Force, which I don't recommend because that was a very trash series. There is a set of Ranger suits that they had never seen before, but that was the Ranger suits that were counterpart to like the Thunder Megazord in season 2 of Mighty Morphin, and I recognized that. I was like, where have I seen that before? And I did a quick research. I'm like, oh, okay, so this is where the White Ranger, this is the original team where the White Ranger was supposed to be a part of, but Saban just didn't use that footage. He just continued using stuff from Z Ranger, or Zy Ranger. I don't know how you pronounce it. That's the dinosaur, the first Ranger series we know and love. So yeah, but I can't wait till y'all actually do that. I'm sitting here talking like.
Hey, I'm about to say, when we do that, we'll definitely have you on, because my Power Ranger knowledge, I know Mighty Morphin, I know like Ninja Storm, and I know like Dino Force, but for the most part, I don't know all of the Power Rangers, so I would have to literally rewatch them. You know what I'm saying? To even do the rankings. But if I'm not mistaken, they already been talking about it in the group chat of doing that after you guys tagged them in it. So.
Cool. I'm definitely looking forward to that because there's a lot to discuss. There are some that I have to rewatch, and there's just some that I refuse to rewatch. It's like it's not even worth my time. Like again, the Power Rangers Turbo, Operation Overdrive, and Megaforce. Those are absolute no-nos for me. Like if you told me to, you would have to literally pay me to watch it, because I'm gonna be like, I'm about to sit here and I'm just gonna be like miserable the entire time. But anyway, yeah, I definitely can't wait for that. Y'all just keep me posted whenever y'all decide to drop that tier list, because I definitely would love to be a part and have discussions among that, because Power Rangers it's been around since we were kids and in diapers and whatnot. Yeah. And the Japanese Ranger series has been going on even longer than that. Some of us weren't even born when Ranger started. So
the IDW comics is going crazy too, from what I heard.
Yeah. I've been meaning to that, because I know that Knox was pushing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles agenda for IDW. I haven't actually started reading yet, but I definitely want to. I just need to find out where I can find that link so I can get into it, because I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I got you. I can link you to
okay,
that.
Yeah, my brother he watched it in the 80s, because he was born in the 80s, so of course he watched the 80s series. I watched the 02 version, which I love, but I could never keep up with it. That was the only problem, is that even when it was on Fox and even when it was switched over to Cartoon Network, I just could never keep up. But I would go back and rewatch that series. Some of the series now, I think like Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles took a different viewpoint on that. I heard that it kind of started off like but it actually got better as the series went on, so I definitely will check that out in my spare time. I don't want to call it the 3D version, but I guess the 3D version before that was on Nickelodeon. I heard that was actually decent. So
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So Power Rangers, the comics though, are way darker.
Not
Power Rangers.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah.
Are darker. Yeah, because Ninja Turtles originally started off as a dark series.
Yes.
But they wanted to make toys and stuff like that, so they lightened up on it. And but it's always been more of a adult dark series or whatever. The comics are crazy. I've read 3 different runs. I know on one run, you lose Donatello. And then on another run that they're on right now, The Last Ronin, that one is where one turtle survived and the other brothers are dead, and he's got all of the weapons. Like he's got the nunchucks, he's got the staff, he's got the sword, and he's got the size or whatever. But you don't know. Well, in the first issue, you don't know which turtle it is, and he's using all of them. So you're like trying to figure out which turtle survived, and you know what I'm saying. And then like later on in that chapter, you find out which turtle it was. I won't spoil it for anybody that doesn't know. Okay. But yeah, and then you start each chapter, it shows how the other turtle died. So then the third one, it shows this turtle died, how he died, and so forth and so forth. It's a really good read.
Wow, definitely looking forward to that. again, if they ever decide to make another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, I just hope that it doesn't turn into, this is my favorite turtle. I love Raphael, but if they turn this into another Raph movie, I'm gonna be kind of upset, because the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie that came out in the 90s was a Raph movie.
Yeah.
The reboot was when all of them got captured. No, I mean, it's been out for a while, so if you haven't seen it, oh well, but it was Raph who was trying to rescue the rest of them. I'm like, so I get that Raph probably has like the most I don't want to say the most character development, but he's just easy to write for, because his attitude and his mindset it can easily be put into a story, considering, you know, all the emotions that he goes through. But still, I would like, if they have another movie, well, focus on Leo, focus on Mikey, focus on Don, like, you know, do something different and switch up. Like, don't just make it about Raphael. But either way,
what's your Turtles ranking, man?
It's Raph, Mikey, Don, and Leo. I don't want to say that Leo is my least favorite, but in terms of how I know TMNT, Raph has always been my favorite, only because, again, I like the color red, but then I saw just how much of a, you know, what kind of character that he was, and I just fell in love with it since then. Mikey is always keeping me laughing, no matter what. Donnie, I mean, he can be kind of a bookworm at times, but, you know, he'll come up with some incredible moments. If you pay attention to like the very first TMNT movie, the live action, you know, even just his lack of understanding of slang and whatnot, and they just in the very beginning, and they just look at him like, really? And then he finally has a word that works for him, because if I remember, it was Leo was like, awesome, Mike said righteous, and then this man Don was like, bossa nova, and it was just like, what? Bossa nova, cherry nova. Oh man, and then he was finally like, excellent, and they was like, yeah, okay. I'm like, all right. So Don definitely has his moments. Leo, I will admit that there are some Leo stories, like in the 02 TMNT series, that when they take the chance to focus on Leo, that he is it brings out his character more, especially when it comes down to the interactions with the Foot Clan. It seems that Leo is really just like focused on trying to take them down, especially with how many times does Shredder come back in that series? Yeah. Shredder is just like, no matter what you do, he just keeps coming back. So but, you know, I if they show like another series where I can see more of Leo, I guess, and he's not just the stoic leader of the Turtles, then, you know, I'd probably give him another chance. I know in Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Leo is actually not the leader; it's actually Raph. But I haven't gotten a chance to actually like watch that series, so I probably will take the opportunity to go and watch it whenever I get the opportunity. But what's your turtle ranking, man?
All right, so for me, it's Mikey, Don, Ralph, Leo.
Okay.
Mikey, I mean, it's been said in the comics a lot of times that Mikey is the most gifted turtle. The issue is he doesn't take anything serious.
Right.
So, Splinter, Splinter has said it a few times. He said, like, Mikey is the most talented turtle, but he just doesn't have his stuff together. Donnie, I just like Donnie because that's just pretty much me. Like, he's misunderstood a lot, and it seems like he's trying to do, you know, even though he's the smart one, that's not necessarily tech savvy, is not my thing, but like it just seems like he's trying to do things to be cool and fit in and stuff like that, and he's often come off misunderstood, you know what I'm saying, and he's on the outside. So I pretty much, you know, I bonded with that character a lot. Ralph, I like him because he's a hothead, and then at the same time he's like, he kind of goes rogue a lot too. Yep. And a lot of his stories he goes rogue, so that fits me. And then I got Leo last mainly because I just don't like Boy Scout characters, if that makes sense. Like I'm not a Leo fan. I'm not a Captain America fan like that. I don't like Cyclops. I don't like, you know what I'm saying? Like anybody that's the super Boy Scout goody guy, I'm not really. It's not like I just don't like the character. It's just I'm not a super. Those my least favorite type of people.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. I got you. So their character types, pretty much, you just kind of like, that Boy Scout is a very, very appropriate term for that. Yeah. When you look at heroes that can either like do no wrong or they do very little wrong and they always are ready to take charge and be in the front and lead. It can get redundant at times, like especially with Captain America. I actually didn't like Captain America either until the MCU, and then I think it wasn't even the first movie it was in. It was the Winter Soldier that I finally was like, okay, now I'm warming up to Captain America. So but yeah, man, I definitely respect that ranking as well for you as far as the Turtles. I'm trying to think of some other nerd shit that I've been doing as of late, other than anime, because I mean, obviously we'll get into that talk. But as far as like the gaming, because I know that they had done a series about E3. That was actually the last episode that y'all dropped. So what are you most looking forward to, I guess, in this next game console generation? Like what are you looking to get, like a Xbox Series X or a PS5 or anything like that, or just stick with Nintendo? Because I see the Switch back here, so I gotta ask.
So right now, recently, the system I've been playing the most had been the Switch. Now, obviously, we don't have a DVD player for my son's room right now, so I downloaded YouTube on the Switch. So that's why it's in here. But mostly, most of the time, I'm playing different Pokemon. I've been playing a lot of Mario Odyssey, Luigi's Mansion, Smash Brothers. I play Smash Brothers for like 4 or 5 hours a day sometimes. Like I play Smash a lot. I play with Ike. That's my main. But for the most part, yeah, it's been the Switch. I'm really excited for this new Pokemon joint to come out. And then Breath of the Wild 2 should be coming out soon too. So I'm really excited for those. As far as like, I will be getting the Xbox Series X and I'll be getting the PlayStation 5 eventually. Like I'm a collector, so I usually get all 3 systems. You know what I'm saying? And I play all of them. I'm looking forward to, I believe they're coming out with a new God of War. And then
that'll be dope.
What was the so it's the same people that made Left 4 Dead, but I can't remember the name of the game because they changed the name. But it's basically another Left 4 Dead like 3, but they changed the name to something else. I'm really looking forward to that. Like when that game comes out, I will be playing that shit day one. I can't think of the name right now. I'm gonna look it up as we talk.
Okay.
And then I'm a big Hitman fan.
Okay.
So I love Hitman.
Hitman. All right.
Let me find out the name of this new.
In the meantime, I will say that I know with the chip shortage going on is that there's not too many PS5s, and if they are, they jacked up the price tremendously. But that's definitely something that I'm looking forward to getting, as well as my brother has a Switch, but of course I'm never around my brother because he's still in South Carolina and I'm in Virginia most of the time. So I'm definitely gonna have to invest my money in the Switch. Like I haven't had a Nintendo product for a while, but I've always loved the Nintendo products, with the exception of the Wii U. But like the Wii. I even had GameCube at one point, and that's how I got into Smash, because I was a beast on Super Smash Brothers Melee. But then I haven't played Smash in so long. It's like I hop back on it on the Switch and I continuously get my ass beat. So
playing online is a different animal.
Yeah,
like I play online sometimes, but there's times where I played online and like the dudes I was playing against, they never touched the ground. Like they was in the air fighting.
Oh, they would just juggle you the entire time.
And I was like, I'm not built for this. I was like, let me get some couch play with a bunch of people that I know. And
right.
That game was called Back 4 Blood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm excited for that when that come out.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. I definitely need to get back into like gaming for real, because I was the last games that I was playing on my PS4 was, of course, I had gotten back into Destiny 2. I know that there are some folks in our circle that were on it, so I need to get back on it because I haven't played it in about half a year. I haven't touched it. So, and I know it's been going on still, and it's like, all right, well, if they updated the storyline, then let me hop on this joint real quick. Also, I've been on Mortal Kombat 11, but I took a break from that. And then, for some strange reason, I was drawn back to Soul Calibur because everybody knows I'm a fighting game guy. So I went back to Soul Calibur because one of my homies had actually done the storyline playthrough, but I hadn't. So I just went and I just spent hours going through everybody's storyline, and I'm still not finished. But I'm like, Kilik is my guy. Like, I just give me the I forgot the name of his weapon just like that, but it's the staff. So I'm like, man, just give me that all day and I'll just go nuts and I'll go crazy. And I haven't lost with Kilik yet when I do some couch play. Now online, it can vary because sometimes I'll be good and then sometimes, it is what it is. But that fighting game is one that I knew that I could, if I'm not an expert in anything else, I can be an expert in this game because my... how I got started in Soul Calibur was there used to be this movie theater. It was $1 movie theater. Like, you would go see the movies that were not quite out on at the time. This is how old we are, on VHS or on DVD yet, but they were getting ready to. But it was really cheap. You can just go see the movie for $1.
It's the dollar theater. Man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so they had the arcade games, and of course they had Soul Calibur. Now, I had not played Soul Edge, which is actually the first game in the series, but they had the Soul Calibur game. So I went up there and I started playing with Kilik, and then in most cases, of course, I was young, so of course I was button mashing, but nobody could get me off the table. And then I finally learned how to actually chain the combos. So then, as I got older and Soul Calibur 2 dropped, and they had the arcade game at this place called Frankie's Fun Park, which is, ironically, it's my first job. But before I got there, they had the Soul Calibur 2 arcade game, and I just hopped on, got Kilik. People were trying to play me and get me off the sticks. I did not leave that game for the entire time I was there. I was just getting everybody up. I'm like, all right, well, you're done. Oh, you're done. Who's next? Oh, you coming to play? All right, bet. And that's how I got into the game. And then eventually I got Soul Calibur 2 for the GameCube. And then I didn't own any of the other Soul Calibur series, but I did get a chance to play through them until the most recent one on PS4. And then I was like, no, I got to buy this. So, yeah, man. That's how I got into... That's one of the reasons why I got into fighting games. Also because my brother used to whoop my ass in Street Fighter. Every single time. I could not beat that man, especially when I was younger, bro.
So what's your favorite fighting game?
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
My favorite back in the day was this game called Bloody Roar. I don't know.
I know Bloody Roar. Yes.
That used to be my shit. I used to love Bloody Roar.
Yeah, man. We used to always play. I played maybe Bloody Roar maybe once though. But between my brother owning Street Fighter 2 and then owning Killer Instinct, and I could never beat him in that game either. I had to get good at something, so that's how I found Mortal Kombat, and that's how I found Soul Calibur. Now, when it comes to Tekken, we're about even.
Oh yeah, Tekken is that shit.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, well, we played Tekken and we found out that we're roughly even when it comes to playing that game against each other. But me being competitive and wanting to beat him at something, it's like, okay, if he's gonna whoop my ass in Street Fighter, then I need to find something that I can whoop his ass in. So Mortal Kombat became my field. So and there are times where he'll still get close to getting me, and I'm just like, no. But yeah, man, that's how I got started, at least on the video game tip. Recently on y'all's episode, y'all also talked about some of the things that were disappointing for E3, and I noticed that for me, there was some talk about, of course, Square Enix and what they were getting ready to drop, and then they just had to mention Kingdom Hearts 3, and I just had to put my head down.
See, I wasn't a part of that episode because while that episode was going on, I was recording with Anime Later.
Okay.
So I wasn't a part of the episode, but then I ended up pulling up to the episode and listening in at the very end. So I was sitting in the little comments area. But yeah, I was like, dang man, they really clowning right now.
Yeah, and they let loose on Capcom. I'm just like, dang, Capcom took that much of an L this year,
bro. We need a Mega Man game. That's what we want.
Yes,
we want a Mega Man game, and Capcom is hating. They won't give it to us for some reason.
Man, look, I was such a huge fan of Mega Man X. I wasn't into the original Mega Man because that's not what I grew up on. I grew up on X, so I played through 1, 2, 3, and I think I stopped after 4. But then I got this game for the GameCube with Mega Man X and Axel and Zero. I think it's called Command Control, I think.
He doesn't have the helmet on and shit.
Well, yeah. Well, he had the helmet still, but it could be removed. And then on top of that, it was more like a it was more RPG style.
Yeah, open world.
Yeah, and
that was the joint.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't like it, but I'm like, I never had a problem with it, man. I love the game, especially once I got the super armors for both Zero and Mega Man, which were completely difficult to get because those bosses and those secret bosses to get them were crazy, man. I'm sitting here like, yo, how do I beat this? But the one to get Mega Man's armor was so bad. I'm like, when I tell you that boss was just like, okay, I had to actually quit and go find Zero's secret boss. And when I found him, he was hard to beat too, but I beat him like the second time around. And once I got Zero's armor, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go back to the secret boss for Mega Man's armor, and I'm gonna use Zero's armor on this, for lack of a better term, on this girl. And from that point, I was like, "Yep, I'm not losing." And so I realized that I had to get Zero's first so I could get Mega Man's, but it was still, I still liked the game. It had a classic plot twist to it too. So, for those who don't, know about the game, I would just look it up. Matter of fact, where's my phone?
Oh, you left it in the living room.
All right, but yeah, I believe it's called It's Mega Man X. Mega Man X.
Yeah, because when I was playing
Command Mission, that's what it's called.
Oh, okay. So I was gonna say between that one and Mega Man Legends, still two crazy Mega Man joints.
Did any of y'all play Mighty Number 9? Because I know it was supposed to be like built like Mega Man, even though it wasn't Mega Man.
No, I never played that one.
Okay, I played it for a little while and I got bored with it. It wasn't the same.
Yeah, so our gaming. That's another thing that I love about our podcast. We pretty much break it up into we pretty much got experts in each field. So for gaming, we pretty much lean on Bo and Straw Hat Hydro. Okay. And Double O. So they pretty much run the gaming side of our podcast. Then Alpha and A pretty much run comics. You know what I'm saying? I know a little bit about comics. I read, but them dudes is on a different level of reading on comics. Me and Alvin pretty much do anime talk, and Crystal as well. Okay. And then Cam, she pretty much runs movies, any kind of movies and things like that, TV series and stuff that's pretty much Cam's field where she runs that side. Okay. So.
Hey, yeah, man, y'all got a little something for everybody. Which is good. Before we wrap this up, of course, we gotta talk about anime. First and foremost, how did you get started as the Watchers? Because we all know Panda, and for those who don't know about the other person who I was actually trying to have on this pod as well, I'll probably have to have him on a different episode. It's Montel, aka King Teliano of Mic Check Waifu. Be sure that you go check them out. I am a Patreon subscriber to Mic Check Waifu, so just be sure that you. I gotta plug them in, of course. Shout out to them. Yep. So how did y'all get started as the Watchers?
So what happened was, I was getting slandered. So it was I made a joke, and because we always have this conversation all the time about Light versus Lelouch. And it was on the timeline one day, and then we were talking about it, and I was like, I think Light is smarter, and I still do to this day. Even after watching it, but at the time I was like, I bet Light is smarter than him, and I ain't even watched Code Geass yet. And Panda was like, "You what?" And I was like, "I haven't watched Code Geass yet." She's like, "You need to start that today." So She tells me that I need to start it, so I started live tweeting about Code Geass and stuff like that. While I'm live tweeting about that, Panda starts talking about Hajime no Ippo. And that's my favorite sports anime. So me and Tail both were like on that thread talking about, oh yeah, Panda watching Hajime no Ippo. We were hyping her up. So Panda ended up starting a group chat on Twitter with me, her, and Tail.
Okay.
And we were just in there, and we was like, anytime we recommend something and stuff like that, we just pretty much did that. So we were recommending stuff. We were saying, hey, we got reads and manga you need to read and all this stuff. And then one day I'm riding in the car and I was listening to I think it was Exhibit on not Spotify, Pandora. Exhibits Pandora or whatever, and then The Watcher came on. The song The Watcher came on, and it just randomly came on, and I was all like, The Watcher. I messaged Tail and Panda. I was like, we should call ourselves The Watchers, and then she was like, done, and she changed the name to the group chat The Watchers. So then we pretty much, we in there shitting on bad takes and stuff like that. You know what a group chat is, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So we're doing that, and then one day she was like, I'm so tired of people always talking about shonen. We need to get people to like on a wave of talking about different type of animes.
Yep.
So Panda pretty much came up with all this. You know what I'm saying? She probably won't say that she did it. She won't take credit for it. But this was the Watcher challenge is Panda's challenge pretty much. And she was like, we need to get everybody on this train to do something different. So she was like, what do you guys think about like getting people to watch 100 anime in a year? It's got to be new anime. That way they can't just be shonen. Mm-hmm. They have to. And if you do 100 anime, it'll be hard to just stick to one genre of 100 anime. So you get to basically bring some diversity to the timeline, because we got so tired of just big three shonen. It was the same thing. Hunter x Hunter talk. People was talking about Hunter x Hunter's never coming back and stuff like that. Full Metal Alchemist. It was like the same 5 to 10 anime that people talk about. So Panda pretty much put this together, and then you know what I'm saying. Then explicitly made that flyer, the graphic with the Samurai Champloo thing, and we thought that was perfect because Tail, Jin, I Can Be Mugen, and Panda. You know what I'm saying? So it actually was a really fire graphic. I shout out to him. But that's pretty much how it started, and then we started using the hashtag, and pretty much the Watchers just became a thing, you know what I'm saying? But at first it was just a private group chat, and it was really because Code Geass and Hajime no Ippo on some real shit. Okay. That shit is what really started us.
Word, man. I will say that this challenge, and it's been challenging for me because of work schedule and everything else. But that being said, I've still, tried to participate. And I'm like, even if I don't make it to 100, I at least appreciate the challenge for giving me, something to invest in. Because I had dropped off of anime for a little bit because, again, work schedules started just getting hectic. But then when the challenge came up, it was like, matter of fact, it was before the challenge. This was actually when I had my surgery. That I was like, man, I done missed out on so much anime that has happened in the last few years because I just hadn't been focused on them. I just started watching. And then, matter of fact, it was Outlaw Star. I'm like, because I hadn't seen that in a minute. So I'm like, let me go ahead and put this on Hulu. So I just watched it throughout the time that I was recovering from surgery. And then when January rolled around and I saw the anime challenge, I'm like, this will get me back in. This will allow me to remember my love for anime, because I was a big anime head even when I was in high school. It's just around the time of college I started like bit by bit just not paying attention to it, and then to the point where for a couple years I just, outside of Dragon Ball and maybe Black Clover, which I mean that's hit or miss, and outside of some of the more well-known shonen, I was just like, okay, well, other than this, I haven't really been keeping up with any of like stuff that's coming out in the spring season or stuff that was coming out in the fall season. So it's like, okay, this challenge will allow me to get back to where I was. So I was like, all right, this is a good starting point. So I just started watching. It started with Mobile Suit Gundam: The Origin, and then it just took off from there. So I think I'm at, if you include the anime that I'm currently watching right now, I think I'm at like 45. So but yeah, I'm like, even if I don't make 100, I'm still gonna at least try and attempt to do it, because I've loved this challenge, and it's making me remember my love for anime and why I have been doing and watching anime ever since I saw Voltron. Yeah. So yeah, man, it's
no pressure to complete the whole 100 episodes either. It's really just, we just wanted to bring some diversity to the timeline.
Yeah.
And really, actually we're supposed to be recording another video because we want to give like some hints and some cheats on how to get some quick points. Okay. So me and Panda have been working on that, like behind the scenes. We kind of like, we were like, oh yeah, you can read a one shot, you know what I'm saying, and that one shot gets you a point, or you can watch a few movies. They got like, we have some shorter anime out there, like Corpse Party is like a 4-episode thing. Fooly Cooley is like a 4-episode thing. You know what I'm saying? So you can get quick points that way. So we were doing like that. And then also like with if you watch a seasonal anime, like if you watch 5 or 6 of them in a season, even though you're watching 5 or 6 of them and you're watching them week to week, but once that season is over, you get 6 points pretty much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so it's like we were working on stuff like that, and we're gonna bring y'all some content like that. Okay. On how to get that.
Yeah, that's honestly how I was able to get to where I am now a lot quicker, because I'm like, okay, I'm trying to focus on some of these longer anime. Let me knock out these shorter ones, and it just so happened that I was like, okay, let me go ahead and knock out like Darwin's Game, because I heard that was good. Let me go ahead and get Skate the Infinity out the way. Ever since I finally broke down and got the Funimation app, because I was doing everything on Verve/Crunchyroll, but I was like, man, let me go ahead and get Funimation, man. If I'm gonna do this the right way, so that allowed me to catch up on a lot of stuff. And then of course I'm like, man, let me start watching some movies. So then of course that's right around the time that I had that idea. That's when Sailor Moon Eternal had come out. I'm like, well, you know what? I've been watching Sailor Moon and I've been keeping. Let me just go ahead. This is one of the first anime that I saw anyway when I was a kid. So why not knock that out? And then I started just going through it like Akudama Drive, knocked that out quick. Very good series. And then I hopped on to, what's another series I hopped on? Of course, I just hopped on the Odd Taxi. I'm halfway through that, and I know you've been pushing the Odd Taxi agenda for
big sleepers. Yeah, people have been sleeping on Odd Taxi. Odd Taxi was a real good watch.
Yeah. Of course, I've finished Vivi, which Vivi.
Fire.
Yes. As far as aesthetically pleasing to the eye, as well as a good story, so definitely pushing the Vivi agenda. Of course, I got put on the Tokyo Revengers, which is not really short, but it did force me, because it was so good, it forced me to go and read the manga. So I'm like, all right, yep, it's one of those. Let me go ahead and find it and just start reading. So definitely I appreciate y'all for actually starting that, and I definitely appreciate Panda. I noticed that she won't take credit for it, but still, as crazy as Panda can get on the timeline, that is still big, homie.
Facts.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's I've gotten used to the horny tweets now. I'm like, I can't even say now Panda anymore. I'm just like, that's Panda, and just keep moving.
I always say, I'd be like, ma'am.
No, because there are some that get like ridiculous, and I'm just like, oh, here we go. But yeah, I'm actually glad that I've now met in face to face 2 of the 3 watchers, because I met Tell randomly on Friday, and I meant to tell you how this happened, because we were planning on like trying to link up with each other, but of course we couldn't get the schedules together. Like, okay, we're gonna either do this on Friday or Saturday, because I know he's got to put the kids and whatnot. So I'm like, all right, well, it's Friday. I'm like, I'm gonna go to the mall, man. So after I left the hotel, before I went to my Airbnb, I stopped at Galleria, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go shopping. So I'm gonna get a shirt and some shorts here, just to update the fits. And I walked around Galleria for a bit, and of course Galleria is expensive ass mall, because I mean, you got the Gucci store, the Louis Vuitton store, the Versace store. I'm like, yeah, this is all a little bit out of my price range, but I'm gonna still check it out. I went down to the bottom to the food court and I stopped at I think it's Yongkang Street, which is like a ramen shop, and I'm sitting here ordering food, and I turn to my right and I see like this dude with locks as well as this young lady with locks. I'm like, yo, they locks are pretty cool, because of course I'm locked in myself. And then I did a double take. I'm like, wait a minute, I've seen this dude before, but where? And I'm like, he looks so familiar. So I'm trying to picture it in my head. I'm like, yo, this can't be Tell. This cannot be Tell. And I go up to him like, bro, Tell, King Telliano? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God, how did that happen? Like, bro, we were planning to meet up, and then as fate would have it, we met up at the same exact restaurant in the same exact mall. Out of Houston is big. Houston with a population of over 2 to 3 million people, and I end up running to you at the same mall, at the same restaurant, not planned at all.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That was crazy how I met Tell, and I don't know if he's gonna tell that story on his episode of Mike Check, but I definitely was surprised at how that happened. I'm just sitting there like, I'm looking at God like, bro, you got a good sense of humor. Okay, I see how this goes. So we actually sat and I had lunch with him and his family, and we got to talking and whatnot. And I love his family, man. They are so precious, and his kids are really, really genuinely sweet. And obviously, you know, his wife is a dope person as well. So the only person that I haven't met face to face now, because of course I was able to link up with you face to face. The only person I haven't met is Panda. You know, I've had the Zoom interactions with Panda and whatnot, so now I just gotta, you know, finally meet her face to face when that time comes. Unfortunately, I won't be able to do it at DrinkCon because, again, my job hold me. That's all there is to it. And if someone's listening at my job, I do apologize. It's just that the schedules did not work out, and unfortunately, I just caught the bad end of the stick, so I had to make adjustments. It is what it is. You know, that's corporate America for you. Yeah. But anyway, man, I appreciate you doing this episode here. Yeah. I'm definitely gonna do this again in the near future, and I'm definitely gonna come back out here because it's been nothing but vibes since I've been out here. And granted, I know I always say this, you know, for those of us who listen to my political rants on this podcast. Texas government may not be shit, but I still enjoy being out here with peoples and whatnot because, you know, just the opportunity that's out here and just the people out here are still pretty dope. So yeah, man, one of these days I'm gonna probably be like because I know you told me Sensei was looking at a house out here. I'm probably gonna do the same thing. You know, start looking for a house within the next year or two.
Hey man, everybody need to go and come on to Texas.
Hey,
we can do a whole Texas meetup.
hey, I feel that. Yeah. I feel that. So before we end, of course, I always like to say, do you have any shout outs as far as black businesses, black podcasts, or just anything black in general? Because this is, you know, it's a blackity black podcast. So just
okay. So shout out to Inside the Mind of Blerd. Shout out to the My Knocker Mixer, Scuba Steve. Shout out to the Osa and A podcast. That's pretty much my family, my circle right there, and then the whole anime community that we run with, the anime circle that we have, which is Worst Gen, Black Anime, Blanime, Project Manga, Anime Lately, Mike Check. I'm hoping I'm not missing anybody. Spicy, of course. Spicy lady. Oh, how could I forget Spicy? I'm sorry, Spicy. Spicy.
She gonna turn on the tape real quick. Like, wait a minute now, Steve.
Spicy, Kwame House, or is it Kami House? Kami House podcast, Three Weaves podcast, Geek World podcast. Ooh, I'm pretty sure there's somebody else I'm missing. I'm trying to get everybody. I don't want nobody mad at me.
Did you shout out Noxus?
Yeah, I did Project Manga.
Okay.
Mobcast Mafia. Dang, I think that's it. If I missed you, I apologize. Shout out to Wayne Sabi Bop. She's a cosplayer, real dope. She doesn't have a podcast, but I guess I have to shout her out individually. So shout out to Wayne, and yeah, man, like, thank you for leaving, like, you know, having me on, man, for real.
Hey, man.
Means a lot.
Yeah, man, not a problem, man. I appreciate you joining me. While I'm thinking about it, definitely shout out to Pat, aka Gumbo Goon, for God Punch. I know he just shout out to Concept Moon. I know Pat just had a God Punch event on Saturday. Of course, I didn't have a suit, so it was just like, well, I'll support from the sidelines. I'm definitely gonna hit him up because I definitely want to be sure that I get invested in that and what he's working on. Again, shout out to ItMoB Podcast. I'm also an official Patreon of the ItMoB Podcast. So as always, to Mike Unbothered now, and Sine, because I know he lost his Twitter page for some. Well, I mean, it's gonna be between him and Pat in the finals. We already know it's about to go down, so this will be interesting, and I'm pretty sure Mike will win. I know he's gonna deny it, but I'm like, Mike. You think Pat gonna give him a run for his money?
You must not know.
Well, see,
when Pat get in the mood, and he just be like, man, fuck these people, and he start talking about stuff that he done read. So all the anime only people be butthurt. I be like, man, I'm glad I read manga because Pat just be, hey, this person dead, this person lost his power. I be like, yo, this nigga Pat going. I be like, I'm so glad I'm a manga reader.
Wow, so Pat is the manga spoiler, and Mike is just you say one wrong thing to him, and he's just gonna come at your neck. So
yeah. It's definitely gonna be a Wrath of the Titans moment.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how that is. By the time this podcast airs, we'll probably be in the final round for that anyway. Real quick, the NBA Finals start. I know Law, when he was last on there, he said that it was going to be the Suns and the Hawks. Clearly, that didn't happen. It's going to be the Suns and the Bucks. Definitely going for the Bucks here. For me, I want CP3 to kind of get his first one. On top of the fact that I'm a Chicago Bulls fan, so I don't want the Bucks to win. Come on now, we're in the same division. Yeah. I'm more of the Bucks to lose than the Suns to win. That being said, if CP3 finally gets his, mad respect. And of course, I like Devin Booker. That's one of my favorite guards right now. Mm-hmm. So they got a squad on them. I think they can do it. The Bucks, I think they will need Giannis in order to win this series, or at least make it competitive, but we'll see. Because apparently they fooled the hell out of me, because when Giannis wasn't playing, all of a sudden these niggas just started hitting shots. I'm like, okay then. So, but I will say that I'm glad that Giannis was at least able to get over the hump into the finals, even though he didn't play the last couple of games. But still, I don't want the Bucks to win. My family wanted, two black coaches to kind of be in the finals at the same time, so they were cheering for the Hawks as well. But it is what it is. I know the Hawks will probably be back around. Hopefully, by the time next year rolls around, my Bulls will actually be, they'll be together, because I know we had to make some front office moves the previous year, and then everybody had to gel together, and then we just picked up Vujacic in the trade with Orlando, which cost us a number one draft pick this year. So we'll see how that goes. Who you got winning the finals?
Oh man, I'm a Chris Paul fan.
Oh, okay.
So I need that. The only way I could see them not winning this finals, because Drew Holiday is a lockdown defender. Mm-hmm. So if I'm the Bucks, I'm putting Drew Holiday on Chris Paul from jump. Okay. Cause headaches for that. Cut the head of the snake off.
Yep.
Like, I know Devin Booker is the scorer and stuff like that, and it's going to be tempting. It's going to be real tempting for them to put Drew Holiday onto Devin Booker, but I would put Drew Holiday. He's a longer defender on Chris Paul, and that's what I would do. Now, for me though, I want the Suns to win. So
okay.
So
I feel that, and also as a Bulls fan, I have to say, Cameron Payne has come a long way from when he was on the Bulls, and the Bulls had saw something in him, but for whatever reason, he just couldn't break out, and then it took him going overseas and then coming back to the Suns, and now it's just like he's an electric off the bench player. So mad respect to Cameron Payne. If he wins it, you know what? I'm not gonna be mad, because our front office and our coaches at the time that he was on the Bulls were inept. Yeah. So I'm so glad that we have a new front office, because Garpax was trash. Anyway, it's a good time to go ahead and sign off, so I'm going to go ahead and shout out my black businesses. As always, I said Blandame and Mike Check Waifu. Of course, I'm Patreon subscribers to them. Shout out to Worst Gen Pod because again, I will be a Patreon subscriber one of these days.
I'm a Patreon to Worst Gen actually.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, definitely.
Worst Gen and Project Mommy.
Cool. So shout out to them. With that, I also have to shout out to the Session 757 with Jay and Trey. Again, now that the news is out, congratulations to Trey and Kia on their engagement. Yeah, those are my band buddies. I didn't march with Kia, but I've known Kia for a while, and Trey, of course, was 2 years under me. So just to see that form, and it, oddly enough, it formed off of a love of Naruto. And look where it's at now. It's just like, wow, okay. But yeah, shout out to them. I am looking forward to y'all's future together, obviously. Definitely shout out to my podmates, Law and Nasa. Nasa is currently celebrating her 25th birthday today, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Which, as I'm recording it, this is July 5th, so by the time she hears this, of course, obviously it'll be July 7th, but definitely shout out to her. I know Law is getting ready to move into another apartment, so we making moves here, so that's why y'all are probably not going to hear us for a little bit, but once we take care of some things as far as him moving and then I'm moving as well, we will get everything locked down and we'll come back stronger for season 3. Shout out to Truth and Transparency to my boy Malcolm, also another Hamptonian. As always, shout out to the Hampton University Marching Force, the marching band that I still assist with and still volunteer for as a media team coordinator. Big shout out to all of those who have supported the Chaotic Culture Podcast, whether you've listened or whether you've actually put money into this thing. I appreciate y'all more than y'all know. Y'all have helped to get to where it is now. And of course, season 3, we will come back, of course, with some new logos and some new merch. Keeping this logo the same, it's just that we're gonna have some alternate versions for the merch and whatnot. We got to be sure that we have some variety there. I'm trying to think if I missed you, shout it to my head, not my heart, because there's a lot of y'all to shout out. So yeah, indeed. So yeah, with that, guys, as always, be sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the Chaotic Culture Podcast. You can follow us on Facebook at Chaotic Culture Podcast. You can also follow us on Twitter at chaotic_culture and follow us on Instagram at Chaotic Culture Pod. You can follow me, K3D the Pro, on all social media. You can follow Law at L.JR_96 on Instagram and on Twitter at Law96_. And you can follow Call Me Nasa at _Call Me Nasa on all social media. Where can they follow you, Steve?
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Scuba Steve 1428. Yeah, and then follow the Blerd Mind page, and then you can follow the Linktree, and you can follow all the podcast mates that I mentioned as well.
We're speaking of the Linktree, it goes out to all of our social media as well. You can follow us at linktr.ee/Chaotic Culture Pod. Definitely check us out on all of the sites. All of the sites that we posted on are on there, and it'll also have all of the different streaming platforms that you can listen to, be it Apple, Spotify, Google, Overcast, Breaker, Radio Public, whatever your podcast and wherever you get your podcasts. So with that, I appreciate Steve for joining me today. I appreciate him opening up his home. We definitely had a great weekend. Definitely glad that I had the opportunity to come up here and spend some time with the fam. Also, shout out to Worst Gen because I definitely met Leak for the first time today, yesterday. So yeah, shout out to them, man. I'm glad I was able to meet some of the anime fam in this circle as well, and I'm looking forward to not this DreamCon, but the next one that we have, because I know that that next one I'm going to be a part of no matter what, even if I gotta drag myself over there. So I'm looking forward to when that will come up, and of course when all the other conventions come up as well. After we're still kind of in the middle of COVID, I guess. So once everything is back in full force, obviously we'll continue to make plans for that. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me for the epilogue of season 2 of the Chaotic Culture Podcast. I will catch you guys in August. Be blessed, be safe. God is love. Deuces.
Look, it's chaos
Let's talk about it, please. Let's hold some conversation. You see where I'm coming from. Yes, it's so amazing. Go ahead, get comfortable. You can grab a seat, take a load off your feet. Yeah, welcome to the table. We don't tell no lies over here. This ain't no fable. We just live our lives over here. We ain't no angels. We just shine our light over here. We got the power. We just showing love over here. Cause everybody needs some, yeah. And we don't need a reason. Everybody needs some. And we don't need a reason, cause
we're living in a chaotic culture. 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 Oh, we're living in a chaotic culture. 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 Oh, we're living in a chaotic culture. 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 Oh, we're living in a chaotic culture. 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 Oh.